And it really doesn't matter. This is what I tell my audience when I talk about this. It doesn't really matter what we believe. What matters is what the people who control believe.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
that's right. And I think that that's a key way to delineate it, because a lot of people are like, well, I don't believe that, so I'll just take that off the table. Well, you're not running things either.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. In terms of the memoirs of Billy Shears, this is it's a dense book with a lot of insight and information. Do you have any intelligence on what the origin is of that, as far as, we know Tom Uharriet, presents it. Is
Yeah.
it something that you believe like he has personal awareness of the story, and or is he basically presenting from, did he actually write it, or did he present it from someone else? I mean, what is your take on that memoir?
All right. So I'll give you my take on it. And it's based upon some things that I pulled together. First of all, Tom is a Freemason. Okay. And so we'll put that out there, because Billy is not going to engage and contract with somebody who's not in the Brotherhood for something like this. It's just not going to happen. And just so everybody knows, I don't work with Tom. I don't work for Billy. Over the years, it's been 6 years now, Tom and I have a professional acquaintance with each other. So I respect the work that he does. I believe he respects the work that I do. And that's really the level that it stays at. We communicate periodically, and the communications have to do mostly with me asking specific questions about certain passages in the book. That it's not a friendship where we're going out for beers and all that stuff. So that being said, going back about 5 years ago, I had asked Tom about a particular passage in Memoirs. It had to do with Denny Lane and the Diplomats. And in the book, Billy says that he played the original character of Phil Ackrell, who was in the band with Denny at the time. And that's where we get the Denny Lane, Paul McCartney tie. It goes back to the days of the Diplomats. So there was a passage in the book, and I must have read it, Sean, about 10 times. I'm like, what is he saying here? It was one of those things where it can go this way, or it can go that way. So I wrote Tom an email, and I said, this sentence or two or three about the Diplomats, am I reading this correctly? I said, because it's not tying out. And he wrote me back, and he said, well, that's the way it's supposed to be written, Mike. He says, basically the book is like a big puzzle, and it's not going to give you everything straight as an arrow. It's layered. It has layer 1, layer 2, layer 3. It's 3 layers to the book. So I asked him the question, and he said, let me go back to the boxes and the files I have, and let me take a look at what I can find to help me answer the question. So that was very interesting. So I don't know whether, Tom slipped, or whether Tom said that intentionally as a way to let me know that he had incoming. So he received content to work with, right? So there are some folks that believe that Tom is just somebody that hangs around on Paul is Dead forums and put this book together. And I believe what really happened is the Masonic structure is set up like a corporation. And so whenever there's an initiative or an agenda that needs to get done, it seeks out the best resources and skills within that structure to do the work. Tom told me that, and he didn't say when, but I'm going to assume it was, when he was younger. I don't think it was last week. He was taught how to encode. And he said to me, Mike, at the time, I had no idea why I was learning this, but I was taught how to encode. And so Tom had these encoding skills. And so when Billy and whoever else was involved in deciding to finally release the book back in September 9th of 2009, before they even got there, they selected their resources. So there's a vetting process, and Tom was tapped because he had these encoding skills. So The interesting thing is Tom is not referred to as the author. This is a very interesting delineation. He's referred to as the encoder. So if he's not the author, then who is the author of the book if he's primarily identified as the encoder?